Welcome, dear viewers. I'm so thrilled to have you here again, and I want to start by expressing my gratitude for taking time out of your day to join me. Whether you're new to the channel or have been following me for a while, I'm honored that you've chosen to be part of this conversation. Today, we are moving into some timeless wisdom from the Bible, exploring passages from Luke 3, Luke 16, and Genesis 24 to 25, and relating them to the world we live in today. The Bible isn't just an ancient book filled with stories, it's a living guide that can still speak powerfully into our modern lives. As we explore these scriptures, I'll show you how the lessons they provide are just as relevant now as they were thousands of years ago. Let's begin with Luke 3, a chapter in which John the Baptist prepares the way for the coming of Jesus Christ. John calls people to repent, to change their ways and prepare their hearts for the Messiah. But his message isn't just about individual change, it's also about how we treat others. When asked by the crowds what they should do, John's answer is simple but profound. Whoever has 2 tunics is to share with him who has none, and whoever has food is to do likewise. Luke 3 verse 11. John's message emphasizes generosity and fairness, which speaks to the heart of social responsibility. He also tells tax collectors not to take more than they are owed and soldiers not to extort money or abuse their power. Now, think about the world we live in today. The gap between the rich and the poor is widening in many countries. We see the impacts of economic inequality everywhere, from homelessness to hunger, and even in the way resources are distributed during crisis. The message of Luke 3 is a timely reminder that prosperity is not just about accumulating wealth for ourselves but about helping those in need. In our fast-paced, competitive society, it's easy to become focused on our own success, but true fulfillment comes when we lift others up along the way. Imagine if everyone who had excess shared with those who were struggling, whether it's through charity, time, or resources. The world would be transformed, and this is precisely the kind of life Jesus calls us to live. Next, let's turn to Luke 16, which contains the parable of the rich man and Lazarus. In this story, Jesus tells of a rich man who lived in luxury while a poor man, Lazarus, sat at his gate, covered in sores and starving. When both men die, Lazarus is taken to heaven, while the rich man is sent to torment. The key point here is that the rich man is not condemned because he is wealthy, but because he ignored Lazarus' suffering while indulging in his own comfort. The lesson is clear: wealth is not inherently evil, but how we use it matters immensely. The rich man had the means to help Lazarus, but he chose not to. This story is a powerful warning against indifference to the suffering of others. Jesus teaches that we will be held accountable not just for the bad things we do, but for the good we fail to do. Relating this to today's world, think about the millions of people who go hungry, lack access to clean water, or suffer from preventable diseases. Meanwhile, many of us live in comfort with more than we need. The message of Luke 16 is a call to compassion. We are not meant to turn a blind eye to the suffering around us. Instead, we are called to be stewards of the blessings we have, using our wealth and resources to help those who are less fortunate. In modern times, this could mean supporting local charities, helping out at food banks, or even just being aware of the struggles of those around us and offering a helping hand. The parable reminds us that there is eternal value in showing kindness and generosity to others. Now let's switch gears and look at Genesis 24 and 25, which focus on the end of Abraham's life and the transition to his son Isaac. In Genesis 24, we see the beautiful story of how God provides a wife for Isaac, Rebekah, through Abraham's servant. The servant prays for God's guidance, and through a series of events, it becomes clear that Rebekah is the one God has chosen. What's powerful about this chapter is the demonstration of God's providence, how God works behind the scenes to bring about His will, even in the details of our lives. Abraham's servant had faith that God would lead him to the right woman, and that faith was rewarded. Relating this to our current situations, many of us are seeking direction, whether in our relationships, careers, or personal growth. We often wonder if we are on the right path, if we are making the right choices, or if we'll ever see our dreams come to pass. The story of Isaac and Rebekah is a reminder that God is always working, even when we can't see it. Trust in God's timing is key, and sometimes the answers to our prayers are just around the corner, even when we are unsure. In Genesis 25, we see Abraham passing away after living a full and prosperous life. His legacy continues through Isaac, showing us that God's promises span generations. This is a reminder that the decisions we make today, how we live our lives, how we treat others, how we align ourselves with God's will, can impact not just our lives, but the lives of those who come after us. In today's world, we are often focused on the immediate, what can I get now? How can I succeed today? But Genesis 25 teaches us about the importance of thinking long-term and trusting that God's plan extends beyond what we can see. As we reflect on these passages, Luke 3, Luke 16, and Genesis 24-25, the overarching theme is stewardship. Whether it's how we use our wealth, how we treat others, or how we trust in God's plan, we are called to be faithful stewards of everything God has given us. In today's world, we are bombarded with messages of self-reliance and individualism. We are taught that success is about getting ahead, building wealth, and achieving personal goals. But the Bible offers a different perspective, one where success and prosperity are measured not just by what we accumulate, but by how we share, how we trust, and how we live in accordance with God's will. So, as we go about our daily lives, let's strive to be mindful of those in need, to use our resources wisely, and to trust that even when we can't see the full picture, God is guiding us toward a prosperous and fulfilling life. Thank you so much for watching today. If you found value in this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with others who might be inspired by these messages. Together, we can create a world where we live out these biblical principles in our modern lives, making a difference in the lives of others and in our own hearts.